everyone. Welcome to the movement tutorial for our Life After Lockdown song. In this tutorial, I'm going to break down all the steps and our movements to make it as accessible as possible for you so you can take part in our split screen videos. Something else I had to keep in mind was to think about the fact that all the moves and everything is being watched through a video perspective, which means that all the movements had to be altered, keeping that in mind. So it's kind of like I come up with the movements for Katumba, but it's slightly different. This is a samba reggae inspired tune. Samba reggae is a rhythm from the northeast of Brazil, which is where I'm from, specifically from Bahia, very known, and it brings together all the African influence that we have in Brazil, bringing together reggae and samba. The moves will reflect that as well on this song, and I hope you enjoy and you have a great time. So we're gonna start with part 1, break 1. The basic step for that part is gonna be just us going for a walk. Just like this, leading with the right. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's basically, we're just going for a walk, yeah? Obviously, I'm adding a little bit of swaying, get a bit more relaxed once you're more comfortable with it. That's the basic step for our break, okay? The way this step is going to connect to the rhythm, though, which is where the musicality of movement gets into it and how the body translates the metronome and the heartbeat. This is what is going to happen once we get to the groove. So let's listen to the groove and let's do the step to the groove of part 1. Just stepping to that groove, to that feel. And if we strip all the other instruments out, you're going to hear the bass drum, the heartbeat, how each step matches that bass drum and the heartbeat. Listen to it. As if each step is playing the bass drum. And that is the heartbeat of the tune. That's the basic step. So at the beginning of the song, at the very beginning of it, we're going to hear a count. That's the metronome. That's our tempo. And don't worry if you're not familiar with what a metronome is. If you're not a drummer, it's okay. When we do the movement for drummers course, I get more into it. But let's hear to that count, the metronome. That's going to be the tempo we're going to step into. So let's listen to it. And we keep that tempo going to that step. So we're going to move now to the call and response element of the song, as it starts with a call and response. It's very known in African music and Brazilian music. It relates back to the day when drums were used as a way of communication. And that's what it is, a call and response. So the movement is going to reflect what the music, what the song does. The only difference here we're going to do is we're going to move forward for a count of 4 on the call and back on a count of 4 for the response. Let's just practice that. We're going to alternate with each instrument differently, but let's do everyone together. 4 steps forward and then 4 steps back. Ready? After 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's start with the right leg. Okay, so we start forward with the right and start back with the right. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's basically it. That's the move for the break. The only difference is we're going to layer. What the instruments that do the call, the buckets, the basses, the snares, they're going to move forward for the call as they're doing the call of that part, and the tambourines or handhelds and the happies are going to move forward on the response, as you can see on our play along video here. So there's a little snippet here for you to reference, and then you can go back and watch that as well. Brilliant. So tambourines or handheld drums, as you see on the play along video, once you're going forward, we want your drums to be higher up, okay, as you're shining in that moment. You see that on the play along. Okay, everyone, so let's move into the groove. For the groove, I'm going to use the same step. We're not going to change the step. We're keeping it simple to be our basic step, which is the walking that we did before. One step for each beat. Yeah, there's lots of different types of basic steps, depending if you're parading, depending on the dynamic of the tune. One that we use quite often is the side step, for example. But for the purpose of tuning of this song, we're going to keep going with the same step. So we're not changing or adding too much for it, okay? Leading with the right, keeping the same way. The only thing is going to change here is the arms, okay? So all the drums are keeping with the same step. Now we're going to get, since we're talking about mountain adventures, we're changing the level and adding a little bit of height to the movement with the left arm. Okay, so either if you're playing the handheld or if you're playing the bucket or the happy as well, we're gonna use the left arm to do this. Obviously, the handheld you're gonna be playing as you do this, as you see on the play along. The buckets and happies you're gonna be keep playing with Mountain Adventures, the final part with your right hand, and then that comes in. So that's the final part of it, yeah? Mountain Adventures, Mountain Adventures. You see on the play along. The way we're gonna do with the left arm, we're not gonna go straight next to us and it's not in front. So it's kind of diagonal. So play along with it. It doesn't have to be super specific or super precise. We just wanted to bring that movement. Here's the mountain and then bring it in, okay? Snares, you're just gonna keep playing reunited and moving to that step. So let's watch the play along video and you can see what I mean here. So the way we transition from the break into the groove is once you take your 4 steps back, the final 4, you're going to keep with the same step but in place. So let's practice with the music on. Okay, everyone, now we're moving to the hugs and kisses break. As there is a clear change in dynamic of the song, we're going to reflect that with the move as well. So we are not moving with the groove that's going on. We are pausing our movement. We are pausing our steps. We're focusing on the playing because it's a little bit more complex as well as reflecting the feel that's happening with the music. So we're going to play the whole break, and when we get to the second time of traveling to Disneyland, we're adding an arm movement there. So left arm from left to right. So we're doing a little wave, yeah, with your stick there, left to right, or out and in, as we are playing with the right hand, yeah. Everyone, all the instruments play with your right hand, unless you're handheld or tambourine. Then you're gonna be playing up here, reflecting that movement from left to right, as you can see on our play along video. The step is going to change, or the basic step is going to change slightly. It's what I call the 10 o'clock step. And this is how we set up for it. We're going to have the right foot facing forward, as normal, as you would be. The left is going to be roughly at the 10 o'clock mark. So almost as if your feet were the hands on the clock. Kind of. That's just a little guidance. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just a little guidance to have a little imagery here. You can give a little bit more space, like so. And what we want to do here is naturally your upper body is going to face in the center of that space between your feet, but we want to be looking at the camera and looking at the leader, the band leader, for example. So if we look this way, you're going to turn just your neck. It's going to give yourself a neck ache, and it's going to change the movement as well. So I'm always thinking about how to keep your body healthy as well. So go ahead and then turn your upper body to face your right foot or your right leg, and that should feel more natural as well. So you feel a little bit strange at first, but the more you practice, the more natural it will be. Now, the way we're going to step to it is it's going to change slightly from one step per beat, and it's going to go a little bit like this. Let's listen to the song now. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. So I'm exaggerating here. So you see, so we do 2 steps per beat for each foot. Okay. Now, the final part for this step is our upper body, what happens on the call and response. So we're going to reflect again with the movement what's happening to the song. We are leaning forward on the call, leaning back on the response, almost as if you're trying to listen to what the call is, and then, okay, we get the response. And then you're going to put all that together. I'll do just the upper body. I need a haircut. I need a haircut. I need a haircut. So everyone is going to do that, okay? All the instruments. It might feel a little bit tricky at the beginning if you're not used to moving and playing at the same time, but that's okay. The more you do it, the more used you get to it, and you can always take part of my course, Movement for Drummers, as well. But we tap into that cognitive awareness and intention as well. So with this step, if we're going like this, and we're going to start to step forward and back, or lean forward and back, should I say. I need a haircut. I need a haircut. I need. And you can just practice, just without the playing, just like this. Okay, so how do we transition from the break into the groove of part 2, the hugs and kisses break into the groove? We are here with our arms traveling to Disneyland. Basically, we're not stepping on the break. Remember, basically what we're going to do is just step the right foot forward. And then we're going to bring the left foot diagonal to the 10 o'clock step, which you see in detail next. We're going to step forward with the right foot. The left foot comes in slightly diagonal for the 10 o'clock position, and then we're going to lean forward. So it's going to look like this. Step, lean forward. Yeah, so on the count 1, step, and then I need. We lean forward. And you can see that on the play along. So once we are into the groove, every 4 cycle, we repeat the travel into Disneyland. And we're going to reflect the step from when we did the first time. We're going to change from the 10 o'clock step into facing forward, and we're static. And we're going to transition into just focusing into the arm. We do a half circle, half moon, or a little rainbow, as I like to call. And it's going to look like this. We're going to go with the left hand as the right hand keeps playing. Traveling to Disneyland. And there's a really good way to keep us in tempo is that half circle is going to last the amount that playing lasts. Traveling to Disneyland. If you're playing the handheld one, you're going to do exactly the same movement from left to right, but playing your drum. Traveling to Disneyland. Okay, so let's watch and see what that looks like. And we're going to transition into every 4 cycle traveling to Disneyland, which is super easy. We're going to go back and forth here. I need a haircut. You can just bring that right foot back. Traveling to Disneyland and go back into it. Just step forward with the right. So we get back into the groove. So basically, it's just that right foot comes back. Upper body still facing forward. Right foot go forward. Left foot stays where it is for that 10 o'clock. end of the tune, the final part is the hugs and kisses break. We'll do it the same way we did before. We're facing forward, we are not stepping, we're focusing on our playing. The only change is we're going to repeat that rainbow, or the half circle, with the left hand instead of doing the wave. So it's a nice way to finish the song, everyone going like this, looking at the camera or the audience. So we're focused on the playing, whatever option you're going for on the playing of the break, the more advanced one, the easier one. We're going to play the final one, Traveling to Disneyland, with the right hand, and with the left, we're going to trace that half circle or that rainbow. And if you're with the tambourine, you're going to play with the tambourine that way. Okay? So just like this.